Hi, welcome to the Mohua Show. My name is Mohua Chinappa and I am an author, entrepreneur and ex-housewife. This podcast is about everything from business to technology to arts to lifestyle, but done and spoken ईमानदारी से. Hi, in today's episode, we have with us Aanchal. Aanchal, who founded OhFab with her sister about 6 years ago to pursue something they were passionate about. To restore and revive the forgotten weaves and textiles dying a slow death in Varanasi's serpentine corridors. Aanchal has been involved with fashion and luxury for 9 years and holds an MSc in management from a prestigious French business school. She has worked with Louis Vuitton and studied style and art at the San Francisco Academy of Art. Her love for Indian woven textiles and finding her Indian origin drew her back home after years abroad. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Aanchal and stay tuned in to know more about Indian textiles in the luxury segment.
Hi, Mohua. Thank you for having me on the show. For me, textiles and craft has always enamored me. As a family, we loved textiles. So it was just a whim. I was discussing with my sister one day, and I was like, I would love to see how our textiles are actually being made. Everybody talks of so many types, so many kinds, and we love wearing them, but we don't know how they are made. So why don't we just travel to Banaras and have a look? And yes, it was a whimsical plan. We just booked our tickets, went to Banaras, and we were like, we want to see looms. And we were roaming around in all those gullies. We just took a cab. We went around to all the little villages close by, knocked doors of all weavers, sat with them, chatted with them. And they would wonder, where have these Punjabans come from? Who are they? And we went to the same hotel and stayed there so many times that we were labeled as the Punjabans who had come to check out what they were doing.
So, when you talk about the fact that you went into Banaras and you went to the looms and you went to the weavers, but, we've done so many podcasts and I've spoken to friends who are in the design fraternity and they say it's very difficult to explain to weavers the need to deliver things on time, to do stuff based on that time frame. So have you faced these sort of challenges and is there any truth in this?
Yes, there is a lot of truth in this, but I would compare them to artists. It's almost like or singers or dancers. You can perform or do when you feel like it. You have to be in that zone to make something. So I do associate where that comes from. Many times a lot of the delays come from weather conditions, and they really take their time to make pieces. I also feel that they are in a little bubble where they live. They don't know what's happening around in cities. That the pace of their life and the pace of your life is very, very different. So for them to understand why we need things fast or on time is impossible. We do try to explain. There are a few who understand, and they are the ones who want to grow big. They want to earn, they want to experiment. But there are those who are very content in the kind of lives they live because they've not seen anything outside. So yes, there is that. That is a challenge, but then there is a beauty also to it because that's handmade, right? It's a part of the process.
So Aanchal, whenever we look back, हमें style, fashion, love for Indian clothing, textiles comes from a small space. So who do you think would have influenced you? Was it like this for, your grandmother, your mother, or were you really on your own where you decided to find textiles? I mean, when I look back at my own self, I've been very influenced with the way my mother used to dress up, when she was young. Of course, now she's older and she doesn't take as much care as she used to do in the earlier days. But I still remember गर्मियों के मौसम में हमेशा वो cotton Bengali tangail sarees पहनती थी और सर्दियों में वो silk, sarees होती थी. And that's where my sensibilities really kind of caught on with me as I grew older. So what about you?
For me, it was the family in general. I felt my father has an amazing sense of style. Mom is beautiful and graceful, and she loved her saris. Nani and Dadi, of course, like they've dressed up so elegantly, and that has always stayed in my mind. My nana used to was in All India Radio, so he used to travel. His job took him to multiple places, and mom always used to talk about, oh, you know what, we bought this, nani bought this for us when they were transferred here, or they bought this here when they were in Srinagar. So there was always conversation of art and textile of places they have been to. It was always a family tradition. Everywhere we traveled, we had to buy something local of that area. So it's something so. I think it's the whole family that used to talk about it. And of course, when you read old books and you see our heritage, oh my God, like we are so lucky to have what we have.
So it's so interesting that, you picked up the word heritage. So, Sabyasachi is known as the man in the world of fashion, right? For the way he's really looked into Indian arts and crafts and the heritage. And of course, there was a little bit of there was a lot of people who also spoke about his H&M collection. How has any of these big designers influenced your style, or has there been any influence with OhFab from some of the other bigger designers?
So I think all Indian designers are 100% influenced by the art that India has. Our clothing, textiles of Indian origin and culture, it dates back to so many thousands years ago, right? But there are so many other brands which are doing beautiful work in terms of construction, styling, design, tailoring, growing your business and marketing. So yes, there's Sabya, of course, but there's so many other brands on a global level who are amazing. But I feel like all Indian brands, they all are inspired by India, and so are we. It's just amazing, and it's boundless. So that's amazing.
So, you just now spoke about marketing. So do you think you need film stars to endorse your brand, or else it gets difficult to be found, in the clutter of so many designers all around?
I feel your sensibilities, your brand sensibilities and outfits should be worn by people who connect with that sensibility. That's when it's ideal. If it doesn't, then it's going to fall apart over time, right? I do feel that you need people, and there are so many more, all thanks to Instagram, who have come up. The point is to connect with that personality, with that celebrity, the kind of followers that celebrity has, versus just film stars. And I do really thank Instagram for bringing up so many people who connect with the kind of clothing we make.
So, how often does a designer get requests, from celebrities or influencers for free clothing? So we've heard that, there are a lot of requests. And have you ever faced those, and how do you manage these sort of challenges?
Lots of times. It's somebody who's asking your product for free is really not the right fit, because if they understood your work and they liked your textile, the exchange would be very different. So we know at that time that it's really not okay.
Who would you dress in the world of art and cinema, and why would you dress somebody if you were to do OhFab on them and make them look fab?
I wish I could dress up Gayatri Devi. Like, oh, that would have been like my dream star moment. But I would love to dress up somebody like Jacinda. She is a revolution. So yeah, women who are so strong and powerful, and they think for others. They bring about a change. I would love to dress up people like her.
So it's I would like you to be very candid. We've heard that in the design fraternity there's a certain sort of a cliquey kind of an environment. Is it true? And do you ever feel probably not part of that entire clique, and how has that affected your work?
So yes, I do feel that it is a fraternity. I'm not from a design school. It hence I did not have access to a lot of information that normally design schools would give. I do feel that that exists, um, and I also sincerely feel that art and textile are things that are expressions of individual expressions of people. No two pieces are ever going to be alike. Your audiences are not the same. So why be so like why should there be such a groupism or so much secrecy? Like you should just be transparent about sharing things. Yes, I agree you should not copy. That's really offensive and not fair. But at the same time, why be insecure about what you're doing? Like this in I feel sometimes comes across as a form of insecurity. Why should that be? You are amazing as at what you do. Why don't we share?
So when we talk about copying, I mean, if one goes into the stores in Chandni Chowk, one would find a lot of counterfeit products that are sold there at half the price. And मुझे कभी कभी लगता है कि बहुत सारे लोग के एस्पिरेशंस होते हैं और वो शायद खरीद नहीं पाते होंगे, एक सब्या नहीं खरीद पाते होंगे, शायद एक OhFab भी नहीं खरीद पाते होंगे, और उसका जो एक कॉपी शायद कहीं मिल जाए. डिज़ाइनर को कैसा लगता है जब आपको पता लगता है कि आप जिस चीज़ को 10,000 में बेच रहे हो वो शायद 4,000 में या 5,000 में अवेलेबल है कोई दुकान में जाके? तो ये जो इमोशन है इसके साथ आप कैसे डील करते हो?
So it is flattery. Sometimes it is disappointing, and then you are also figuring out like where did it leak, what happened. But again, it's the field of textiles. There are so many people making textiles. How they are making it may never be the same because there are so many techniques to make it look alike. But the textile may never be the same. Um, it's always going to exist. I think we just have to accept it over time. It is flattering for sure, but it's also annoying sometimes.
So, Achal, if you were to, give some tips for a person who's been in a different career, and they want to get into designing, so क्या करना चाहिए इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड्स के हिसाब से शुरू करने के लिए और कंपटीशन को देखने के लिए? क्योंकि कभी कभी मैं सोचती हूँ कि मुझे भी क्लोथिंग इतना अच्छा लगता है, पर ऑफ कोर्स मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है. एंड तो किसी को री इन्वेंट करना हो, कोई अपने जैसे आपने अपने आप को री इन्वेंट किया क्योंकि आप बनारस गए और आपको लूम्स के साथ प्यार हो गया, एंड यू हैड योर सिस्टर अलोंग विथ यू, एंड यू व्हाट वुड यू टेल देम टू हियर? बिकॉज हमेशा हमारे अंदर दो आवाज़ होती है जो कहती है कि आप नहीं कर सकते, और एक और आवाज़ होता है जो कहता है नहीं नहीं कर लो. सो क्या टिप आप देना चाहोगे आंचल?
प्लीज अपनी आवाज को सुन लो कि आप कर सकते हो. ये मैंने आवाज अपनी कॉलेज टाइम एक्चुअली क्लास 12 में नहीं सुनी थी. मुझे सुननी चाहिए थी. और वापस तो मैं वहीं आ गई हूँ. It's been a full circle. I'm back to what I really wanted to do. So please listen to your voice. I would definitely say research. आपको किस डोमेन में जाना है उस डोमेन का रिसर्च बहुत ज़रूरी है. नॉलेज बहुत ज़रूरी है. Find out the business sense of it. Because some things we are thinking of very passionately and may not think of business. You need to be sure that if it's your passion, would you be okay not making money? Then your decisions will be very different. If you know that you're making money, then your decisions are going to be very different. I think this is a very important thing that I would recommend. Please, in your mind, bifurcate and decide, research, and then just follow your heart. Just do it. You do it. There is so much space, and people want more. People want to see. People want to learn. They are going to welcome you. Just do it.
Thank you so much, Aanchal, for being on today's episode. And for people who need to find out and they want to buy your products, OhFab, what is your Instagram handle and how do they get in touch with you?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been an absolute honor. My first podcast. Please have a look at us on Instagram on OhFab, OhFab.in, and you'll have all our contact details. Our website is www.ohfab.in. Thank you.
Thank you, Aanchal. To you, our dearest listeners, you can find us on your favorite streaming services, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and of course on all other major streaming services. With loads of love, we are The Mohua Show, where we talk ईमानदारी से.